Hello, I'm Laura McPhee, Insight Editor at Pensions Insight and Engaged Investor magazines, and I'm here with Michael Johnson, a research fellow at the Centre for Policy Studies. Very good to have you here, Michael. Good. So one of the major themes that we've been talking about this morning is the government's suggestion that the LGPS might move a very large amount of money from active funds into passive funds. What's your take on that?
Delighted. It's long overdue. There is no evidence, no robust evidence, to suggest that active fund management adds any value over passive management of listed assets. To be clear, let's distinguish between listed assets and unlisted assets, as indeed the government has distinguished. So the publication of that consultation document, which was, a couple of weeks ago now, I think marks a seminal moment in workplace pensions. It is extraordinary in a sense to see the government finally take a lead and challenge an industry that has got away with an awful lot for an awful long time when it should not have been allowed to do so.
And do you think this signals the end of active management?
No or yes, neither answer is appropriate, but it certainly is an indicator that that aspect of the fund management world ought to shrink. There are still going to be plenty of opportunities for active fund management of unlisted assets, the alternatives, private equity and so on. But I hope that the private sector, workplace pension sponsors and trustees take note of the government's lead and start to move out of the active management of listed assets.
And another subject that you've spoken quite widely about is the abolition of tax relief. Have you had any sort of response to that?
Yes, I've had a response. I've had a variety of responses, some of which are printable and others are not. Essentially, yes, I believe we should get rid of all tax relief as understood today. Income tax is progressive, so by definition tax relief is regressive. It unwinds the progressive nature of today's acceptance by society that the wealthy pay higher rates of income tax. But I'm not suggesting that we don't incentivize retirement saving. The core proposal is sweep away the existing complex architecture, and the majority of adults in this country don't know what tax relief is, so it clearly doesn't work very well, and replace it with a simple 50 pence from the Treasury for every pound that you save, irrespective of your tax-paying status. So we separate the incentive from income tax, and we limit that to an allowance of about £8,000 a year, which is a number we've come up with for affordability reasons. And so I'm suggesting that £8,000 from an individual will be matched, if that's the right word, by £4,000 from the Treasury, maximum £12,000 a year. I suggest that's more than enough savings capacity for probably 95% of the working population, and the other 5% probably don't need an incentive anyway.